643 sports fans, you're back. It's me, co-host Ryan Shaver, my good friend Ted who's constantly here with me. Rivalry week, college football. We're leading up to the playoffs. We got a lot on the table. We got some wins and losses already on the board that are going to affect seeding. I'm going to kick it off to Goose, recap what we've seen, tell me what you want to see, tell me what you hope to see.
Okay, so Friday happened, which is today actually, but during the day, Pittsburgh beat Miami 24-14, which essentially does two things. So in my opinion, the college football playoff picture. It pretty much guarantees that we will not have a double ACC college football playoff because it kind of de facto Clemson, if they get past South Carolina tomorrow, they'll play Miami for a place in the championship. Whoever wins that game will get in 100%. And then the second thing that it guarantees, in my opinion, is that Alabama is now a lock because even if they lose tomorrow against Auburn, they're a one-loss. Auburn goes to the SEC championship game. Alabama's sitting there with one loss. You can't name four teams that get in over a one-loss Alabama team. If they win tomorrow, they're in, even if they lose to Georgia. So I think Alabama's locked up. You can throw away one playoff spot, and so now there's three things. So games to look forward to tomorrow. We basically have I'd say 4 or 5 playoff contenders playing tomorrow. Wisconsin plays Minnesota on the road. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. Is that neutral site or is that on the road? I think it's in Atlanta, which, may be a home game, but whatever. Clemson, I think, is also on the road in Columbia playing South Carolina. And then you got your Alabama-Auburn game, the Iron Bowl. Am I missing anything? Missing any big – Ohio State-Michigan, maybe. You can make the argument that it has a little bit to do with the playoff.
I don't see it happening, but Washington plays Washington State in
Yeah.
the Cup.
Yeah.
Well, relevant.
Right. So which game are you looking forward to then?
It's got to be the Iron Bowl, just because of the implications. Both teams still have legitimate chances to make a push here for the playoffs. Auburn would be an incredible story to come back with 2 losses to run the gauntlet that they've had to do with Georgia, Alabama, and then possibly they would play Georgia again if they won that. It would be a truly incredible 3-game feat. So that's definitely what I'm looking for most to. Second would probably be Tennessee Vanderbilt. Neither team has won in the SEC. So I'm looking forward to one of those teams getting, the monkey off the back and getting that first W in conference play.
Yeah, Indiana Purdue too, right? That looks like a good game. How about Northwestern Illinois? Ugh.
Those are great basketball games.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. How about Oklahoma West Virginia? We forgot about that one. That's a big game. I don't know if you saw the line. It's 23 points. Oklahoma's a 23-point favorite. I know Baker Mayfield won't start, but I don't know. Is he coming in the second drive? Is that how they're playing this? Is that how Oklahoma's playing it? Do you know off the top of your head?
No, I don't. That was probably the weakest suspension. If he comes in and misses the first series, that'll be kind of a lousy, suspension, so to speak. I believe the spread is so big because Will Greer broke his finger.
Yeah, that was gross.
Yeah, really.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it was a direction you're not supposed to have it. So I don't know if he's going to play at all. I doubt it. So that's probably why the line just jumped so big. I believe they are playing in Morgantown, but
no, it's in Norman. It is.
Is it?
Yeah, that's probably guessing with the line too.
Yeah, the over under's got to be 75.
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. I'm looking for chaos, so I need Minnesota to pull one out. I need Notre Dame to crush Stanford. I need South Carolina to win a game. There's a lot of things that we need just to get some sort of true dynamic that says, hey, let's evolve this from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 or whatever the case may be. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. But what's the game you're looking forward to then?
Well, honestly, I'm looking forward to them all because here's my guarantee of the week, and I don't think it's that crazy, but if you look at the top 3 playoff teams, Clemson going to South Carolina, Georgia going to Georgia Tech, Wisconsin going to Minnesota, one of those 3 teams is going to lose. Clemson, Wisconsin, or Georgia. That's my prediction. I'm not going to say which one because I don't know, but I bet one of those 3 teams goes down. I'm looking forward to a close game and in one of those games, and then the Minnesota throws a Hail Mary or South Carolina throws a double reverse to win the game, and Dabo Sweeney or whoever the Wisconsin coach. Who's the Wisconsin coach right now? Paul Christ.
Uh,
That guy's
they-
a lot of fun. Anyways, but one of those one of those guys, go down, and I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Someone's going down, I think Alabama rolls Auburn. By the way, I don't think it's going to be close. Because
if you had to call it right now, and you said, "I'm willing to put money on these four teams making the playoffs," I don't care what seeding.
Mhm.
Who would you say and why?
Okay, Alabama, because I've already stated that. I'll say Clemson because I think they're going to beat South Carolina and I think they're going to beat Miami. God, it's such a safe pick and I hate it, but Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma. I don't think anyone's slowing them down. They look really good. And then, dude, that fourth team. I don't see Wisconsin beating Ohio State. And then who gets that fourth spot? I don't know. I give me if I had to put money down, Georgia beats Alabama, and the SEC championship to get the fourth spot. I don't know. I really don't know the fourth. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's probably the question universally, nationwide, is who is the fourth team going to be? Because I think there's a few teams that everybody's probably looking at as safe bet: Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. I think of all of those teams, I think Oklahoma, it would be the lock if I had to pick one. They're going to play West Virginia. They're going to play a good TCU,
Really.
but I think they're the safest bet for a team to get into the playoffs. I'm going to say Alabama gets in, and you're right. I think they're in a win-win position. Besides getting blown out 77-7,
Yeah, right.
I think they're in no matter what. That win against Florida State doesn't look very good, but they play in the SEC.
They're Alabama too. They're Alabama. They've been dominant this year too. That's
The comment before: how many are there really four teams better than Alabama? Absolutely not. So I'm going to say Alabama, Oklahoma, and I'm going to go out on a limb because we just talked about this off air, and I'm going to say Miami gets in. They lose this game, which they're going to go from number 2 to, let's say, number 6. And
yeah.
they beat and jump back in. Okay, so there's 3 teams, and then my fourth team is going to be. Hey, it can't be Georgia, because if Georgia beats Georgia Tech, that means they're going to lose to Alabama, because I think Alabama's going to run the table. So I'm going to say Notre Dame sneaks back in because they smash Stanford tomorrow.
Okay. That's not
going to happen. But I'm making a prediction, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Yeah, it's because what's crazy is people realize, what if, and it's not that crazy. What if Oklahoma loses to TCU? What if Clemson loses to South Carolina? Now what? And then they beat Miami in the championship game. Now what do you do?
What happens if the Golden Gophers row the boat?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. They just dominate Wisconsin. Now we're sitting there. Even if Ohio State does beat Wisconsin, who cares? They just got smoked by Minnesota last week.
I know, but that's a great question, though. What if Wisconsin lays an egg against Minnesota and they come back and they just absolutely smoke Ohio State? Do they deserve a chance to get in there with one loss?
The thing is, you know what?
Talk to me about UCF today beating South Florida.
Yes, UCF should be getting more respect. I think Western Michigan was like 13 at this point last year with way less quality of wins. Not saying that Maryland's any good, but UCF dominated a Big Ten team by 40. Mm-hmm. The Big Ten team that beat Texas, by the way.
Texas is barely beating Texas Tech right now.
So you know what I mean? It's not like UCF is beaten up on. They tried to schedule, and then they beat South Florida, who isn't bad. They're not. South Florida's only got 2 losses, and they're gonna have a chance to beat Memphis next week. And if they beat Memphis, I don't know, man. Why not put them? Why put in a 2-loss Wisconsin team or a 2-loss? Why? And it's not like these teams. I would, if Clemson had 2 losses to Alabama and Miami, you'd be like, okay, but Clemson lost to Syracuse. Ohio State lost at home to Oklahoma and then got throttled by Iowa. Penn State, they lost to Ohio State and Michigan State. These aren't none of these teams have these outstanding resumes that you could just disregard this undefeated UCF team.
I think at this point in the season, if anybody's calling for chaos, it's UCF.
Oh, yeah.
if these teams keep beating each other, so if Auburn goes down, whether it's in the Iron Bowl or in the SEC championship game, they're out because there's no way a team with 3 losses is going to be ranked ahead of them. If say a team like I think even Wisconsin slips up, UCF could catapult them.
Dude, but as the standings right now, do you realize that Washington State is ranked above UCF, which is it's mind blowing though. That why would
I get that. It's because it's the Pac-12 now. Washington State's not going to get name recognition like some of these bigger schools, but it's the Pac-12. They beat USC at home early in the season, but you can't tell me that Washington State's going to beat Washington and USC in back-to-back weeks.
No,
it's just happen.
No, but how? But my point is with the rankings, it's not. How is Washington State, who lost by 34 to a terrible California team, ranked ahead of UCF? It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense.
That was a forest fire game. It doesn't count.
Oh, is that what it is? It's a forest fire game?
There was haze in the air. You can't count that as a real loss.
Okay, my bad. Sorry about that.
So are we both in agreement that the Pac-12 is dead?
Oh man, they're terrible. The Pac-12 is terrible.
Because you know as well as I do, some people are calling for, hey man, if chaos ensues, USC could backdoor a spot.
If that happens, man, I'll be so disappointed in everything about this system. Because here's why. USC has 2 losses, right? One is the Washington State, who I just explained why they're no good. Okay. And then the other one is to Notre Dame. And what was that score? 150-7, that Notre Dame game?
It was a lot to...
A little. And then that Notre Dame team just got smoked by Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And then Notre Dame lost by Georgia. So how is USC getting in? And then how are they even in the conversation? It blows my mind that would even be like legitimate.
I'm thinking back from memory now, but I don't think they have any real quality wins. It's name recognition, and they happen to be 9-2 right now, or 10-2, or whatever.
Who is their best win? UCLA? Seriously, is that? Arizona?
Arizona was ranked when they played them.
Texas?
No, they beat Stanford.
Ugh.
Now, if Stanford somehow crushes Notre Dame tomorrow, that win looks better.
No, it doesn't, because they got smoked by Notre Dame. Who cares?
No, but they beat a team that beat Notre Dame. I mean, I don't know. You can go wherever you want. Okay, so with all these question marks that are left out there for, what 4 teams can we put in? And this could all play itself out in complete compliance with, how college football wants it. The 1 seed that the Bama gets in, the Oklahoma, the Clemson, and teams just work their way in without any real
Wisconsin, yeah.
If you could expand this or make this better, are you in agreement with most people that say 8 teams? Because I'm going to go a different way.
Well, I know I'm all for, as long as, how do we get UCF in? That's what I don't care. Like I as long as we get the undefeated team in, I really don't care how many teams. I don't like my biggest issue with the college football playoff, and maybe because I'm a fan of the little guy or whatever, but I don't like how a team can run the table and not get a chance to play for the championship. I don't like the way that's set up, I guess. I know they play in a weaker conference, but they're still Division I, and they scheduled a Big Ten team. They did what they had to do. So if you have to expand to 8 or 12 or whatever, so then like the group of 5 team gets the automatic berth or however you want to play it out, that's what I'm in favor of. I think 6 would be a good number, but I don't think that guarantees. I think 6 is good for what you want, with the buys, the first 2, and it's not over polluting the game, and the kids still get the bye weeks and all that stuff for school, and they're still students or whatever. But how do we get UCF in that's my major issue.
Yeah, I've kind of been a big proponent of 6. Grant the top 2 teams a bye for rewarding them for the season they played and how well they've done, and then let 2 through 6 play it out. But if we expand to 8, I do think they should give all just because money is a huge factor in all of this. If they expand to 8, I think each team from the Power 5 gets an automatic bid.
Yeah, kind of like basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure people would say like, oh, what happens if a team like a 3-loss
Yeah.
Pac-12 North team beat an undefeated USC team, well, then I mean, tough shit.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and then do you give? How do you play it with a non-Power Five? Does the highest ranked non-Power Five school automatically get a bid, or do they have to be like how they used to have in the BCS era, like you know, within the top 12?
12. Yeah.
So if they can figure that out, I'm all for getting the little guy in there to give them their chance because Utah proved a few years ago they can beat Alabama, Boise State beat Oklahoma.
Or when Blake Bortles and UCF demolished Baylor.
Yeah, oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. I thought it was TCU they played, but yeah.
They demolished Baylor.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy to me, though, is like we do this and people kind of ignore the fact that the Power 5 team, I don't know these numbers off the top of my head, but let's say in the last 10 BCS bowls, the non-Power 5 team that got in, I bet they're 500. I would make that bet. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'd make that bet. I know Western Michigan lost to Wisconsin in a pretty good game last year.
Mm-hmm.
UCF beat Baylor, right?
Yep.
Okay. Utah beat somebody, right?
They beat Alabama.
Yeah, they did.
Years ago.
And then Boise State beat Oklahoma. Remember that game?
What's that now?
Boise State beat Oklahoma.
Yep. I think Houston beat Florida State.
Yes. Yeah, with Greg Ward. There was someone's like last game.
And then Andy Dalton, and when they were non-Power 5, they beat Wisconsin, I believe, in the Bruce Bowl.
And like I said, what duds have there been? Western kind of was a dud. I remember Hawaii got smoked by Georgia one year.
Yeah.
But that's the only like other dud I can really think of that outside the Power 5. That's my point. It's not like these Power 5 teams are getting like, oh, we should let them in, or getting smoked every time they play. They usually handle themselves pretty good, so why not let them in? I just don't know. It's money.
I don't think you can go past 8 teams and really, really get quality games that, the boosters and the NCAA are looking for. Because if you give anything past that to me, because if you get, like, let's say they expand to 16 teams, and you get an Alabama who plays, let's say, a 2 or 3 loss Washington State, I mean, that could just be a rollover. And I don't think that's going to make for finances and for the money that the NCAA is trying to create. So I think 8's got to be the cap, and then just figure out how to play it with who's guaranteed spots and who's not.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. You can't have too many teams. Well, the thing is, I guess the counter argument to that, and I think I remember telling you this way back when, if you had something like 24, which I know sounds crazy, but if you go off like the basketball thing, where like every conference gets an automatic bid, right? And then that way, and then you 9 through 24 plays, and the top 8 get a bye, and then you could, but that's too much, and then you have to get rid of every other bowl game. So if you're 25 or lower, you don't get in the bowl game, which I think would be good. I'm a proponent for that. Getting rid of I don't want to watch Florida State play Iowa this year. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't want to see the 6-6 teams play each other. I'd rather see Washington State, for instance, play Mississippi State, or Washington State play what's another team that's like kind of in that ranking? Washington State play Michigan State for a chance to play Clemson. I'd rather watch that game than Iowa versus Florida State this year, or Rutgers versus Arizona State. Yeah.
So rule to prevent rambling, which we've gotten.
Oh man, we're rambling 100%. Yeah.
Going all over the scoreboard here. Who is playing in the national championship game?
Alabama versus Oklahoma.
Ooh, nice. I'm gonna take a surprise. Miami versus Alabama.
Ooh, that'd be fun too. That'd be fun.
That would. Nick Saban and the boys get another title, and the U is back.
Okay, how about all right, one more question. That's it. What game would have the best storyline?
I'm gonna venture to say Clemson, Alabama, Part 3.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I would like to see Baker Mayfield, as good as he's been, And as much as he means that Oklahoma team, have a chance to play a defense like Alabama, with all the studs they got over. I know they've been injury prone this year, but that's the staple of that Nick Saban core since he's been at Alabama, or since he's been at LSU, or since he's been anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him throw it around against one of those teams. I mean, Alabama's shown to struggle against a mobile quarterback who can throw the ball like Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield. So Oklahoma, Alabama would probably be the best storyline. But I'm going to say Miami beats Alabama in the national championship game.
Yeah, I'd like to see Miami play Georgia. Just see Mark Richt, but that'd be fun. That'd be a fun like semifinal or something like that.
That would be the storyline.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
that would be good.
Anyways, that's all I got, man.
All right, brother. It's been fun.
Yep.
Later.